Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today I have a special guest, Christilyn, from Neho Marketing. Is that how you say it?
Neho Media.
Neho Media, my bad.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, I want you to kind of give your backstory as to like what you do and who you are.
Yeah. So I'm doing digital marketing for the healthcare and beauty sector. So that's the main niches we focus on. But initially, I did work in an agency, and we were basically a full house agency. We did content marketing, ads, podcasts, film, basically everything, even events as well. So that's where I actually got most of my experience. Learned a lot from them, great people as well. Super creative. It was really fun, but I felt like I needed to leave to start my own business because I had a, a very different vision, and yeah, I wanted to build something that was very unique and had a quite a different business model as well. Yeah.
Cool. In terms of running your own marketing agency, how long have you been doing this for?
My own marketing agency, it's been about a year now, but I started with marketing. I started doing marketing for the past 4 years now. Yeah, 4 or so years.
What inspired you to leave the old place and start your own thing?
Yeah, so I think well, I firstly I have a passion for business, and I really wanted to create something of my own and lead my own team as well, under the my own vision, my own direction. And for me, I really wanted to create a marketing agency that's really specialized and really focused towards the healthcare and beauty niche. So that was the um, industry that I felt was really underserviced, and they could be doing so much more because especially with healthcare marketing, currently there's not a lot of people that do it properly because there's so many like rules and guidelines with it that people don't actually follow. People meaning marketing agencies or freelancers, they don't really understand how to actually do marketing for certain industries because there's a lot of regulations, and these industries are usually quite scared to do marketing just because they've been burned a few times. They've had a few bad experiences. They got into trouble um, with regulations. So that's why I really wanted to create an experience for them that they can really maximize the use of marketing to promote something that's good, and that's something that actually something that people actually want as well.
Awesome, sounds great. And you said you've been running it for about a year now, year and a half.
Hmm.
You mentioned that. Yep.
Oh, a year, yeah.
About a year. Yep. What is your 5-year vision with this? Where do you want to kind of direct or take it this whole company?
Yeah. So my idea of why I started this business actually is so that I'll have more freedom to actually pursue different things. So my agency is actually completely virtual. So the goal isn't to have a big agency where we have like a massive office, really cool chairs and lights and all that. So that's not the goal for me, at least. My vision is actually to have a really strong team that's really like-minded, with the same passion. We're really interested in doing what we love to do, which is marketing, ads, creative stuff. So that's the vision. And I feel like with creative people in particular, they tend to be creative when when they can organize their life themselves. So they're not fit into a 9 to 5 structure. So that's what I found, at least with people around our age group, the millennials. I did find that if we were to confine them into a certain lifestyle, like a 9 to 5 lifestyle, it's really hard for them to express themselves or to be creative or to even like push more boundaries because they're like so constrained. So that's why that was the vision, that I really wanted to work with people virtually. And that requires as well a whole different set of skills to work online. I mean, as we can experience now, like not everyone's actually coping very well working online, but like we're actually quite comfortable because that's how I've been working for the past like year or so. So that's the vision initially. But for the next 5 years, I would see um, the business, or is it for myself, the business?
The business.
Yeah. So for the business, I would see it growing to a much larger team, spreading out to hopefully Asia, because right now our main market is just in Australia, but I do see us hopefully moving more towards Singapore, and then maybe towards different parts of Asia. but that's in the works at the moment.
Sounds good. And why Singapore specifically?
Well, I'm originally from Singapore, so I think that's a place that's really close to my heart, and also I think that's a really underserved market. Um, it's such a small country, but there's so many well, in Perth, what's the population in Perth? Well, either way, either way, there's more people in Singapore than there is in Perth. So, and there's a massive need for healthcare marketing and beauty as well. So I think that's a market that we really want to tap into, just because, it will be a challenge as well, because the culture, the way people respond to ads as well, it's so different. So I think that will just be another market we want to tap into to challenge ourselves and to push ourselves to be more creative. Yeah, because people in Singapore are super creative as well, and they tend to be really fast paced. So I think that'll be something good for us to challenge us in the future.
Sounds amazing. Do you actually see yourself living somewhere else other than Perth?
Yeah, I actually do. I do have plans to move either over east or Singapore. But I do like Perth, but I'm just trying to weigh out my different options at the moment, because I do have family here and I don't really want to leave them. But if the right opportunity comes, then yeah, I'm happy to move. I'm not really like, how do you say it? Yeah, I'll be okay with moving.
For sure. I guess like the line of your work, you're able to work from wherever, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just more like having to think about chores and cooking, logistics. That's what's holding me back.
Oh my God. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um,
Because I'm still living at home and I get free food. Mom cooks for me. I mean, we take turns to cook, but still, like, it's nice having family looking after you when you're sick, supporting you as well. Yeah. You probably understand.
100% understand. Like coming back from London, the whole experience is great. But coming back, it's just like, it's very comforting just to like be back with the family and like spend time with them. But like, I also know that like there's a point where you want the independence like from family, and, especially like in Asian culture, it's very easy to kind of like stay at home because of how your parents kind of like treat their children. They make it very easy and comfortable, which is like all out of love. But there also comes a point where like you want to like step out and do your own thing, live somewhere else independently.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, Melbourne is, it's in the works.
Awesome. Sounds great. So in terms on your personal self, other than business, what do you like to do?
In my free time?
Mm-hmm.
So I do like to go to church, spend quite a bit of time in church. But other than that, I think I like to do a lot of creative stuff as for like hobbies. So I have a food blog as well. So that's something I do to de-stress, eat. So eat out a lot. Just gonna plug my blog here. Bobby Eats Perth.
Nice. I'll put it in the little
yeah.
caption.
Yeah. So do like to eat quite a bit. But I think that's just like something I enjoy because it's quite stimulating in terms of like the art to it as well. Not just like food tastes good, but it's how they present it, the ambience, the way they present, the customer service. I think that's like an experience I really enjoy. And I think that actually helps me become more creative, and that's how I get new ideas as well. Because how like we all have different outlets to get ideas and to stimulate creativity as well. For me, it's actually food.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess that's the same as me as well. I love food. I love tasting different foods. When I can taste, different foods from around the world, I get a sense of the culture and learning about the way they do things. But I find food as a form of connection to other cultures, other people, and it brings a lot of people together. So it's like that's why I love food as well.
Yeah, it's a great excuse to hang out and leave the house.
Definitely.
Especially because I work from home. I'm always home. So that's why I always find an excuse to just get out of the house and get some inspiration.
Yeah, nice. That makes sense. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So as you have been working from home, I know like I work from home as well if I'm editing or just like planning everything out. But as someone that has been working from home for a long time, what sort of advice or tips can you give to people in this situation that are working from home right now?
Yeah. I think the first thing to know is that it is going to be hard. Like it took me a while to actually get used to like this routine. So initially, like I think especially with everything that's going on, like most people will be quite disheartened, and it's hard to communicate as well because we're so used to seeing people, and um, it's hard to create small talk as well online because you're thinking like, oh, am I annoying this person? Like, do they even want to talk to me? So I think a good way to actually reframe your mindset is to think that everyone's in the same boat as you, and it's really important to have to even communicate online, not just about work but about like how's it going, what you have lunch today, like just little conversations here and there really makes the whole working from home experience much more better. So for me, because obviously I wouldn't talk like some of my contractors, they're working different hours, so I wouldn't want to disturb them all the time, but I do have business owner friends where I talk to quite frequently, and I think that's what's helped me to create this little community so I don't feel really lonely. So I think to start off with, that would be a good idea to actually create a community where you can have someone to chat with, just like how you would with like a colleague, because it will get lonely, especially if you're actually working from home alone. Yeah, but the other thing would be to just stick to your routine. So it's so easy to sleep in and whatnot. Probably harder if you have meetings in the morning and stuff. You probably wouldn't sleep in, but for the most of it, it is quite hard, I would say. So for me, I tend to just stick to my routine. Don't sleep too late. Don't binge on Netflix too much. And I also try to wear like a nice top. So I don't really care about like whatever bottoms I'm wearing, but I just try to wear like a nice top. Um, yeah.
Awesome, sounds good. Do you actually have your own office space, like set up in your own home, or
Yeah.
are you working from a laptop off a desk?
No, so I used to work. So initially for maybe about 3-4 months, I was working off my laptop. And then I realized like, okay, this is not practical because it's hard to it's hard to stay focused for a long time. So then finally I got like a full setup, like a nice big space. And actually another tip would be that if you have a space, like try to use it and try not to work on your bed or from your couch, because that can be you can get tired really easily. So have like a space and make sure that it's clean as well, because that will give you more clarity. Yeah, so I did find like when I did move to like a workstation, that gave me a lot of clarity. And then I fixed up like workplace like ergonomics, like a good chair, bought a good chair, make sure my screen is like you know directly eye level. I was cheap and I bought books instead of like those monitor raising things. So I just used books, which is cheap. And then what else did I do? Didn't really do much, just added like orchids on my table just to make it like a bit more lively but still really clean. Yeah, so that did really help actually.
Nice, sounds good. And in regards to, because you're sitting down a lot, right? Do you have a standing desk, or do you remain seated, or do you take breaks often and you go out and walk and stand up and move, or how do you handle yourself?
Yeah, I don't have a standing desk. I can lift my desk up, but it's such a hassle, so I prefer to just leave it as it is. But I do take like walks. I play my dogs. I have a dog at home as well. His name is Raj. Super cute, Lassie. But yeah, go for walks. Have a lot of breaks in between. So I love making tea. That's like my excuse to have like a quick 5-minute break or so. Try not to use my phone during my breaks, because when I start going my phone, that's when I kind of lose track of time. So I try to have work blocks in the morning as well. And like during my breaks, I will take my break, and I usually set aside an hour for that. Um, and now because everyone's working from home into the family, we do have like family lunches, which is really nice. A little sense of community as well. But other than that, I do go for walks in the afternoon just to get some sunlight and greenery.
Awesome, sounds great. Now, talking about this whole situation that we're in, the whole COVID-19, everyone working from home, everyone's staying home. What have you found to be the positive things that have come out of this whole situation?
Um, yeah, that's a really good question, actually. So I think everyone's been really negative and worried about it. But I think for me, like I was pretty negative about it initially because my clients were freaking out, and then that was freaking me out as well because I was trying um, to contain their emotions, trying to help them think logically and what are the steps we're going to take. But after the first week, I think of the whole lockdown and all these massive changes that was happening, I think that started to smooth things out. And then I started realizing like, hey, like this is a massive opportunity. So I was doing a lot of research of like previous crashes, recessions, and um, all those big events. Like the most recent one was like in 2008. A lot of companies actually emerged during that time because they actually saw this downturn, this market downturn, as an opportunity. And I think that's where um, my mindset sort of shifted. So from like a really negative perspective where I was like, oh my gosh, like, I spent so much time in this business and it's going to fail. And then suddenly to realize like, wait a second, like this is a massive opportunity because everyone else is going to think like how I was thinking, how like, oh no, like I better stop marketing because, we need to save cash and, do this and do that. Like, yes, you need to save up for a rainy day, but also you need to identify opportunities that are coming. And you also have to be smart in whatever money you invest into during this time. But if you do find the right place to invest, and then there you go. So like with products especially, it's not just where you want to invest in marketing, but also like the product you create right now, you might actually have to pivot quite differently, which actually was what I was worried about because I already had this product really ready and set for the market back then. But now I had to completely change it because I know the market needs and the market demands are completely different. And if I don't pivot, I will probably fail. So I think this is something I learned as well from Amazon, where they actually introduced Kindle in 2008. So they introduced this product that the market really needed, and there was a massive demand. It was cheap. So they actually hit all these different pain points consumers were facing at that point of time, even though, they had less money, there were less jobs. Yeah. So at the end of the day, like I think people are still going to buy if your service or product does meet a need and solves a problem for them. But if it doesn't, then yeah, obviously probably wouldn't work. Yeah. So I think that's hopefully that's something positive instead of or consuming all this negative media. I think it's very draining. And to be honest, I try not to listen too much to the media these days because there are factual facts, but there's just a lot of propaganda when it comes to the media. Because end of the day, media is just trying to use us to get the views, get more airtime, get us to watch TV. So yeah, you don't want to be used in that situation. And like, I guess I'm saying this is just quite ironic because I'm in marketing as well. But I guess that's why I know exactly what they're doing, and they try to heighten all these things that is very serious in terms of COVID-19. But there is a level of like sanity and clarity that we need to remain because end of the day, we still need to function. We still need to live our daily lives. We can't, yes, like practice, social distancing, quarantining yourself, but we can't exactly, stop everything and give up our business completely.
Awesome. I absolutely love that. And I like that you've found the opportunities in times of struggle and challenge, because a lot of people, as you know, are freaking out. I've lost a lot of clients, like projects, they're just being held off at this moment in time just because of all this uncertainty. They don't know how the market's going to kind of like go, what sort of direction. At the moment, a lot of my projects are on pause, on hold. But I just want to ask you, did you communicate these ideas of, looking for opportunities to your clients? Or was it just a natural process of them just naturally realizing that there's an actual opportunity for them to kind of like push even more?
Yeah. No, none of them actually realized it. So before because some of them did have to close their businesses temporarily, mainly in the beauty industry. All of them obviously closed, and then some in the healthcare industry did shut temporarily as well. So prior to that, I already had a whole plan on like the different stages that was going to happen, because I did predict we probably will go into lockdown, like seeing what the other countries were doing. So I actually preempted them on the different steps that we would take in terms of what would happen if you had to close your business temporarily, what would happen if you had cash flow problems, what happens if you're still open and you can still operate, but there's people are not leaving the house. So we had different strategies in place, but they did still freak out, which I think is a very normal thing to have. So that's why I spent a lot of time just sort of comforting them, giving them confidence as well, give them a bit of clarity in mind. I think the ones that are still operating are actually quite happy with advertising, and they are actually seeing and like not an increase, but they're actually maintaining. And I think one or two have seen an increase in terms of their conversions, but I also think it's only the increase is only because other shops, other clinics were closed. So I think that's why there's still a need for it, and they're actually meeting that need. Yeah, so definitely was a good opportunity there.
That's awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, other than this whole business stuff, how has this whole situation affected your personal life?
Yeah, so definitely affected my personal life quite a bit. So I thought I was really comfortable working from home, but I think things changed when my friends started to get really affected. So my friends, lost their jobs. They had a lot of uncertainty, and like everyone was just in this state of panic. Like my mom was like sending me, sharing me WhatsApp messages every day of like the different things they found, new deaths and all these things. And I was like, okay, this is too much, Mom. But so I think that really affected me, even though I wasn't trying to consume this kind of content. I was still being educated, but I was trying to block out the media in terms of the fear, the panic buying, and all these things, because I knew that was led by media and it wasn't rational behavior. But I think because my friends, my family were affected by it, it really affected me as well. So that got me like really being really worried, being really concerned for my health, just because I have a low immune system as well. So that just created a lot of fear. And I think I did have like a bit of a break for like 3 days, just to kind of gain clarity, because I think if we don't take the mental health break, to check ourselves every now and again, it does get really hard, because you're like suppressing all these emotions. And for me, like when I do feel like I'm on a verge of like breaking down or like getting really stressed out, I just take a break. So, and that's something I've learned over the years, to not be afraid of, to just take breaks. And I'm not the kind that I'm like, just hustle. I'm like, I care more about my mental health, my physical health, than work or making money, for example.
Oh, amazing. For me, I'm very similar in that sense now that I've learned, getting burnt out, developing like chronic diseases through stress.
Yeah.
It's a hectic
that thing's
thing.
real, man.
Yeah, shit's real, like you got to take care of yourself, and you got to be aware of the stresses, whether it be, mental, physical, emotional stress. Just being aware of this sort of stuff, and like your environment as well plays a massive role with stress. So cutting out negativity or toxicity in your life.
Negative people as well. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think now that this whole isolation period has come about, it's making people realize a lot more about who is actually good for them in their life. And it's like realizing, is this person good for my mental health, or is this person good for me in general? Now, like once this whole isolation or social distancing has like drops, then people can really, take action with like, maybe I shouldn't hang out with that sort of group. Maybe they're not really good for me. And choosing to choose the right people for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think this time as well, because everyone's sort of forced to be home, it either really, forces you to spend more time with family and actually to be like cohesive as well. So even for me, like I wasn't used to, because right now I've got my dad, my mom, my older brother, and my sister. So my sister is still in school. So, but everyone's home now, and it's been really it was quite overwhelming having everyone working from home, because it's like, just wasn't used to seeing everyone at home. So it did get a bit overwhelming initially, but I think now I'm like super appreciative of like the time we have. Because I think in this state of like panic, especially, we can, like, we've kind of forgotten about family, we've forgotten about spending time with friends, people, and even time for ourselves. So I think, I don't know, like for me, I think this whole, what do you call it? This whole pandemic. Yeah, this whole situation, this pandemic actually has taught me a lot. And I think it happened at a good time as well, where I wasn't too caught up in just like business, but also now it's reminding to like spend more time with family. And it's great because everyone's sort of in the same places we are right now. Most of us working from home. So everyone's kind of on the same level playing field now. And it's up to us to decide, where do we take it from here? Do we, just bomb around? I mean, I admit I'm still watching a lot of Netflix, but like, what are we going to do from here on,
That's beautiful. I think this is a massive opportunity, like a massive reset for everyone. And it's like making people
reset.
It's making people realize like, what's actually important in their lives, whether that be family, spending time with, or even just like for me personally, I'm extrovert, and I'm always out every day.
What?
I'm literally always out every day. So I'm consistently out of the house. The only time I'm at home is like in the morning or like at night. And now this is like grounded me big time. I've actually learned so much about myself, actually slowing down in the sense of like moving all the time. And now I'm like at home and just kind of like starting to pace myself and finding my rhythm, and not like 100 miles an hour, which is actually really nice.
Yeah, because like now that you've sort of cut all of the noise, you've kind of realized like, oh, actually, these are the things I need to be doing. And it's so great that you're starting this podcast as well, because I mean, for me, I've been pushing away a lot of different tasks. I guess it's harder for me because I'm technically still working from home, but now I'm just like so motivated. I'm helping my friends start up their YouTube channels, which has been super fun as well. So I think, hopefully I'll get that started soon.
Nice. Awesome. Sounds good. Is there anything that you feel like you need to do in the next few weeks in regards to either your own personal life or business?
Yeah, in terms of the next few weeks, I actually want to explore learn new skills for myself. I think that's one of the main goals. So obviously, still have a lot of work to do with clients, into meetings and all that, but I think I do want to spend more time like learning, expanding my mind, like even learning like new things, not just within my industry. Because I think how I actually learn best is I actually look at different industries, because I see how well they're doing and take the best practices from there and actually pull it into marketing. Because at the end of the day, marketing is just a part of every different segment of business. And if I were to just focus on marketing alone, I'll be quite limited in that sense. So I've been looking more into finance, actually, especially with the whole the different market changes. It's been very interesting because there's so much new content now out in terms of like finance. So I think I want to learn more about that, to just explore, get inspired, learn from other smart people. Yeah.
Sounds good. I like that.
What about you?
For me personally, I've been doing a lot of like work on myself, picking up the guitar, trying to learn how to sing, looking at how my sister creates art. It's been like pretty inspiring because it's just like I get to see it like up close. Like those are the drawings that she's actually made. And it's funny because like during this time, she's actually sold a lot of her work online.
So good.
It's been actually
Where
really
did you sell it on?
She's been selling it just through like in Perth and also like overseas as well. She had a restaurant in Madrid really like her work, so she created a piece for them and sent it over to them.
That's so cool.
So it's been awesome to see that transition for my sister, who's an introvert. It's been nice to kind of like see her progress through this challenging time. If you, just to wrap things up, if you could ask the audience one question, what would it be?
How would you do things differently if you knew that you would be working from home for the next 6 months? 6 months.
I like that.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any answers, feel free to comment them down below. And if you guys have any questions for myself or Christilyn in regards to anything, life, marketing, filming, anything, feel free to reach out to us. What's your Instagram handles?
My personal Instagram is Christilyn Carmen, and business Instagram is Niho Media.
Cool, perfect. I'll put that in underneath your text box.
Plug it in.
That's it. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show with me.
No, thanks so much, Fanny. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys.